All right, so welcome to this section that I call the only, not the only, just I'm going to put the only GJ information you would need. But this is just a strategy. All strategies work again. We're mature traders. We're not immature traders saying that our trading style is the only way. There's multiple trading styles and they're great. It all depends on who's using it and their psychology. So keep that in mind. I'm going to give you my opinion of the only GJ simple way of trading GJ. Now, it's really every JPY pair, but a lot of people's favorite JPY pair is usually UJ and GJ. But let's go over GJ. So market structure wise, I always go to the weekly. I always go to weekly. So weekly wise, look what we have here. So every JPY pair usually just did this move down, and it was a very big downtrend, right? Even from this high, we had this big push down, and then it pushed down here, double topped right here, and then it's coming back up to retest some areas. Maybe that area it could come back to. It's kind of squiggly in that area, but we're not gonna go and look at past data that much. When we're trading, I want to see the data that's in front of me. And the reason why I do this is because, yes, past data is important, but if you're a really good trader, you'll put your markings up and then you can go back and test your markings and they'll be precise with past data. And it is what it is. So let me do one little thing first. Let's see, where's that thing at? 8 months, 6 months. Okay. All right. I was just looking for something. All right. So we can agree that we have buyers that we're sitting on a support right here, right? We can agree with that. Here's the support that has been bouncing off. I try to give visuals because we think in pictures. All right, so we got rejection, 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 rejection. Right, we got a lot of rejections off this area, right? And we have this beautiful double top that I called out last week, and it finally hit TP. I know a lot of you guys don't like trading double tops. I know people don't like trading double tops. That's fine, perfectly fine. But the reason I trade them because it's fundamentals. Fundamentals always work. When it comes to basketball, the basics, Tim Duncan, quote unquote, the basics usually work out very well. That's why Tim Duncan's in the Hall of Fame. Now, I'm not saying that everything else, other basketball players that have these crazy moves and all this are not good, but fundamentals work. So keep that in mind. It's okay to trade double tops, but they have to be off of your areas. I mean, you can see right there to the past. If you are one of them past traders, you could do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Works out fine. So let's get into the meat of this video. Gbpjpy. So Great British Pound obviously got weak, and the yen picked up strength. So here are the two indexes for the Japanese yen and the Great British Pound. Now, the market, like I've been saying, is very mechanical. The market is very mechanical. So when we come over here to GJ, and you see this little move right here, that's the same move right here. All of this goofy move right here came. That's what JPY is. That's what JPY has done. Now, let me explain something about indexes. Just for y'all that don't know anything about indexes. This is the yen versus everything. So if the yen has two bullish candles right here, that means every JPY pair probably dumped. So the yen picked up strength against everything. That's why this dropped right here. So honestly, I don't really need to look at the pound. But for the sake of next week, let's do this. So you know how I trade. So this was a support that got broken, obviously. The bounce, and I'm gonna show you, the transparency. So this was definitely a support. Let's go ahead and put the evidence there. Always want to give you guys the evidence of how I trade and things I look for. Even right here, we had that wick, but it pulled back, so and dropped. Then we were making really good support in this area. I'm gonna put a blue there for bulls. So what you're seeing here, if you trade how I'm trading, how I usually trade, what I'm seeing here is price at 86.08 stuck. This whole time it's been sitting here for a while. And that big push down is the reason why we had this big push up in the first place, because the yen lost its momentum. So all yen pairs have been sitting and ranging in one area. So now what I'm seeing for this year is a retest of 89.80. Now, if this pulls back up to this 89.80, what do you think all yen pairs are going to do? Because remember, JXY is the yen versus every pair. That lets you know if it pulls back up to 89.80 or whatever, the all yen pairs are going to drop. And that's what it looks like is going to happen. So, if I put the fractals in on the weekly, we have 1, 2, 3 weekly fractals. So, and then these two fractals on the support that turned into, the resistance that turned into support. And you always use fractals with your support and resistance on higher time frames. We have a reversal to come back to pull up. We might have one on the month. So we didn't get that monthly candle. See where that wick is right there? If a monthly, let me give you a visual. We thinking pictures. All right. If a fractal shows up there for the month, this might have enough momentum to push back up. And the yen pushes all the way back up and breaks this area, retest it, and start coming to these areas right here, like especially the structure high, all yen pairs are going to dump. So honestly, you could just trade your yen pairs just off of the index alone by going, you do what you usually do. You come over here and you look. I usually do the week because the weekly candles look a little better than the 15-minute, but I mean, take the fractals off, of course. But yeah, 15-minute, you can't really see what's going on that much. I mean, it filled in the gap right there. Then this gap didn't get filled in yet, but it looked like it was ranging and start going up. But when the market at 7:30 or whenever the market opens up, when that gap is like that, that's where you see that false move, and then the market start pushing wherever the gap is. So this start going up and stuff start dumping for the yen, and it stayed ranging right here. And even on the hour, yeah, this is an uptrend. We're uptrending, uptrending. So you got to ask yourself, if this move happens, all JPY pairs are going to dump. This is why GBP JPY double topped right here, and we drop. Now this area right here, see this support? Let's go to the JPY. It's this same. It's basically this support, right? That support backwards is this support. So in order for this support to do this, if we have a break, retest, drop, right? In order for this move to happen, we would have to have a break, retest, fly for JPY. This is how all yen pairs move. Remember that I keep saying that. I want you to hear me say this multiple times now. So, and okay, now that we have the yen pair down packed, and it looks like this is the next move, so that means GBP JPY should possibly come back down to the support. Let's go over to the BXY. This is the British pound versus everything. But honestly, let's look at this. If it's versus everything, then what makes the most sense is GU. GU is the major. Let's look at the major. You see GU? And do you see BXY? Let's look at it again. GU, BXY, they're pretty much the same thing. So the major GU is what you should be working off of when it comes to GBP pairs in the first place. So what we have here on the weekly, I'll give you the big picture with GJ. We do have that double top that happened, and that's why I dropped. And this double top was based off of this area right here. Let's make it red. And let's put these in. See the sharp move, pull back, double top, pull back, divergence, drop off of this area. So GBP on a weekly scale is weak against the dollar. So if it's weak against the dollar and the dollar is the main boy, as you can see looking at BXY, because this is GU all over again, then this should let you know that Great British Pound is going to be weak. So what does that say for GJ? We got two confluences here. We got that the yen is finna push back up, and GJ looks like it's about to be, well, the pound looks like it's about to take a pound down, and we have the fractals that are showing up. So this is what I want to illustrate to you. Now let's take these off. All right. Let's put, this was a pullback. This was the pullback, right? From this area. Let's put the bull in. So the bulls got in right here at the bloop, and it came up and it made the divergence move and drop, right? So it pulled back. This was the previous lower. That right there was the previous lower low. It broke the lower low. It broke that lower low right there, but we're not going to worry about that lower low right now. What we're main concern is this. At one point in one point of time, right here was a area of significance. Look, sharp move, it faked out, fake out again, and came back and actually broke it, probably on lower time frames. But the whole idea was that it was going bearish anyway. Some people put it right here. I put it right here just to show pressure. It never even came back up to here. So it was bearish, especially after this divergence. This was divergence move, and I remember when we were all we all saw that it was divergence, and we saw that it was double topping from here. So, just based off my trading strategy, let's put that next line right there. GU, and it all depends on the dollar, of course, too, because the dollar might strengthen. GU could possibly, after this rejection, come back down here, right? And then if this trend is still selling pressure, come down here. That is a possibility, right? If the selling pressure from this keeps happening, right? Let's put the sell. Oops, what am I doing? Then we have the selling pressure right here. And then if it comes back here on the trend and make another selling pressure right here, we're going to see down movement on GU. So, and then look at that candle for the week. Last week, we had wick rejection in a candle. Let's look at this candle closely. When the candle, look how the candle closed, barely any wicks. We have bearish pressure. So there's a possibility that this candle can open up for the week and probably go up and then leave a wick and then fill in and come down. Possibility, right? So if the projection of GJ is bearish, the projection of the yen is bullish, what you think GJ is going to do? Possibility we might see this move. And we might see this move on all yen pairs. Let's just random yen pair. Canada, JPY. Right? Random yen pair. I'm going to put it in. We have the same thing. We have divergence. And we have this thing dropping back down. I don't know what this. I don't put these lines on here no more. But so if that, remember again, here's that base. Just like GJ, here's that base, right? Somewhere in this area. Here's that base. It didn't double top, but it made the divergence, and then this low is lower. So we made a lower low, and we have a full candle close for the week. When I see full candle closes for the week, we can 70% chance of continuing to the downside, right? So we'll see this, and it'll sit right here for a second. And then once we see the drop down here, then whatever happens from here, it might pull back up there, and then we might have a deep break, retest, and we gone. Once it breaks this structure, it's gonna come down. It's gonna come down strong. And when the yen goes down strong, it bursts. And the yen goes for a very long time. That's why a lot of people love yen pairs. You don't sleep on the rest of these yen pairs. I'm gonna say it again. Don't sleep on the rest of these yen pairs. When yen get to moving, you could have swung this from here to here. Swung trade, and then once you saw this divergence, sell. I would have just sold it at the top. I don't care, and just hold it above structure. Look, sell, sell, and then this move happens, we good. But there's the base right there. The base rally, base. It might come back down. And that'll only happen. All of this will only happen if we get a beautiful break, retest, and come back. Start coming testing wherever it's gonna go. Well, look at this thing. So honestly, you could do this with any pair. You take the pair, then you take the indexes, and you mark up the index, and you do your same markings with the index or whatever strategy you're using, and you'll be able to dictate the move of the market. So next week, I'm not looking for this whole move to happen this week, but in a couple of months, I'm waiting for this. The BXY maybe will do this move, and then we're not going to be biased. I mean, it could break and retest and go up. Who knows? Which means GJ will break this high, retest it, and continue. But it makes more sense that it might be bearish because we have the yen could possibly break, retest, and do this. And that's what it's looking at anyway, because we have, especially if we get a monthly frackle right there. We haven't got one yet. You see what I'm saying? Like, see what happens when these frackles come in? The market just goes the complete opposite way. Frackle, complete opposite way. Right here, frackle, down. Frackle at this support, back up. Frackle, tip, frackle, drop. See what I'm saying? So if we get a fractal right here on the monthly, this might have enough momentum to break this area and continue to the upside for GXY. I mean, honestly, let's see. Let's look at the put that in. Let's look at this. This is what is this? Is this the hour? Okay, it's the monthly wise. GXY did make this big drop, so it's probably trying to. Ooh, yeah, that's a big drop. So it's still a downtrend, but it could possibly pull back up and start testing areas that it hasn't tested in a while. So let's take this off, remove the drawings. I want to see this. This is genius. So another thing that you can learn is how to spot liquidity. How to spot liquidity. Bears. So obviously the bears come in. See how the bears come in? It didn't come there. It came wick right there. So there's a possibility we can get one more touch before the bears come in, maybe, you know. So to me, we got a nice, we have a nice area where liquidity is at. And then we have another area down here. Also, keep in mind, we have a beautiful area right here where liquidity is at. Liquidity everywhere. So we can get this to come down. It's got to come either or. Either or before it makes its move. Be watching out for this for years to come because obviously these are the both liquidity areas. So we're going to eventually get this or this. But from this point, it's going to keep grabbing liquidity on both sides. It's cash everywhere on there. This is the JPY. So either or, once it break this, we're going to have a really good time trading yen pairs. But hopefully, before we end this, let's go back over what I was talking about. When you're looking at GJ, or any pair, put both of the indexes up, mark up the indexes. The way that however you mark up the indexes and have your biases for buys and sells, and then day by day, see what's happening, and then you take it like that. It'll be so much easier. It made my trading so much easier just doing it that way. And I know y'all love GJ. And look, I gave y'all some little tips on GJ. So start implementing it. Start using it on other pairs. Back test it. You're gonna have to. This is something you can't just look at one time and then start implementing unless you are intermediate, almost advanced trader. So that being said, I will see you in the next video. Peace.